So I just finished this article. As you can see, it's called "The Queer Lives of Frogs," and of course, the online joke, of course, has to do with Alex Jones, and it's turning the frogs gay. Um, the cross disciplinary approach that this the you know so the paradigms, that's really what they're questioning in this, is that okay, irregardless of an external stimuli, that this behavior would happen anyways, and that queer sex or intersex frogs would happen irregardless of our interference with the production and then introduction of pathogens and chemicals, which that's why I'm saying pathogens, that would not otherwise be there in a natural environment. So these other assessments, this is what they're refuting, is that that it's unnatural, and that the frogs have a natural tendency to either switch sexes or to develop um, uh, gender specific genitalia after evolving from the tadpole stage, or some metamorphosizing, because the frogs, they go through a metamorphosis like some other amphibians, and also like some insects. And then there's this cross comparison also, that the main thing that you have to understand by this is that they're trying to use the example of these queer frogs to justify the same behaviors within humanity, and that is complete and utter bullshit. And I'll tell you why. We're not even in the same branch of biology as frogs. We're not even closely related to frogs, because frogs are cold blooded and humans are warm blooded. Get that in your fucking head, okay? There is a clear and distinct difference between us and this stupid fucking frog. So Jane Goodall probably bit her lip about this hundreds of times. I bet you she did. I bet she alluded to it, how stupid it was. Because while frogs have animal intelligence, it's not the same intelligence or intellectual capacity or intellectualism as humanity. And no one intellectually masturbates more passionately than human beings. Hell, we constructed an entire study. Ethos is making an appearance here, a cameo. We constructed and developed an entire study of language, and we called it linguistics. So encoded communication. Excuse Ethos. He does not necessarily, Ethos and Eris does not necessarily share the same opinions as I do, even though he is making an appearance there. So this is the thing. This is what infuriates me. Because again, what does it matter if the frog produces eggs or if it doesn't? What if it produces frog sperm? And they're talking about sex reversal and ratios, and trying to allude to a comparison to other other gender fluid or gender queer uh, species, such as clownfish. But clownfish have more of a relation in the evolutionary family tree to lizards and reptiles than they do other animals. So what they're trying to do is basically, here we go. This is an example. Here we go. Sex changes don't necessarily preclude reproduction, but might alter it in yet undocumented ways. Preclude, conclude. So it means that it doesn't influence sexual reproduction, but that it might change it in ways that we haven't figured out yet. Let's put that into layman's terms. So that this more or less has to do with other behaviors which are broad spectrum. One of the references I will make will be to the Mouse Utopia experiment, and then they also reference that in this article, talking about aggressive play amongst. Here we go. The assumption goes like this. You know what happens when you make an assumption? You make an ass out of you and me every single time. And that's not logical. And that's not science. What that is again, some people trying, some well meaning scientists, they even say it within the article here, attempting to soften the blow of truth, in which people can then use this information to navigate and negotiate with psychological trauma and underlying insecurities that flower, so to speak, out of what do we want to call it? Out of teenage the process of maturity. That's the best way to put it. So this is what they're saying. Why does aggressive have to be assigned and associated with masculine or male, while female equals passive? It doesn't make any sense, because women or females can be just as aggressive and play dominance games as frequently and as passionately or fervently, that's the word I wanted to use earlier, fervently, as males. So like when it comes down to like this, they made more explicit queer approach, right? So this myopia, right? The blinders are on. So let's like look at this like as if it was just going to happen anyways. And this is the problem. This is the lost in translation. But they're not freaks of nature. See, this is the issue, is that if, again, I'll restate this for the summary, that if these frogs were not exposed to these chemicals that influence their sexual development, that for which are inorganic substances versus organic compounds, then this wouldn't happen. The frogs would not mutate in such a way. That's basically here. Here's the other example: is that their comparison to DDT. And so the logic is the same. If there was no DDT in the food chain, then the birds of prey would not have suffered a decrease in numbers to such a high degree. There's the ebb and flow of the ecosystem, but again, when introduced to a determining factor, then things change. It has nothing to do with whether or not the frog decided it wanted to be a transgender that day or not. So this is the thing, is that the scientist is saying this in the conclusion himself, or themself, herself. As Lampert put it, be open to surprises. Biology will surprise you. Let the animals tell you something different about the world than what you thought. Because our linguistics are the true enemy. Not the science, but the way that which we construct arguments and argumentation. That's all I got to say about this article right now.